Hi all, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys another knife video. I haven't posted a knife video on my YouTube in quite some time, but if you're interested in my collection and you want to see my full collection, I've posted 2 videos previously that show my collection in a little bit finer detail. But today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 3 favorite knives of my collection. If you have any questions or concerns about these knives, drop me a comment down below and I'll try to answer any of you guys' questions. I highly recommend all these knives, obviously, because they're at the top of my collection. They're my favorite. So if you're interested in any of these knives, I would highly encourage you to pick them up. And while I show these knives, I'm going to tell you guys a rough estimate on how much they cost, things I like about the knives, and then some things that maybe I'd change about them. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you guys an honorable mention. This would probably be my number 4 spot if this was a top 4 of my favorite knives. And the honorable mention is the Demko 20.5. I just recently picked this up, so I haven't had a whole lot of pocket time with it. But all in all, so far, it seems to be very strong, very solid build, and I've enjoyed it a lot so far. It has a 3-inch K110 D2 sheep's foot blade that's stone washed. And then I put on these aftermarket Berkshire forged titanium scales with a Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip. That's also titanium. It comes with FRN handles, I believe, out of the factory, but I upgraded for these titanium scales just because I wanted a little bit more premium version of it. It also has the shark lock on the back, which is very awesome, very strong and fidgety at the same time. And then for deployment methods, they have the thumb holes and the thumb hole opening, or the thumb studs and thumb hole opening, which are probably my favorite ways of deployment, so I really enjoy that. Some things I would change about this knife is the shark lock actually had some very sharp edges that I had to file down and sand down just to make it a little bit easier to open. It kind of digged into your finger at first, and so that's something I would change about that. But overall, I really enjoy this knife, and I think it's worth an honorable mention. For my number 3 spot, I'm sure you guys have seen this knife around for quite some time. It's the Benchmade Griptilian. Everything about this knife I really enjoy. I recommend this to my friends and family just because I think it's a very reliable knife. It's been around for quite some time, like I said. And for what you get, I think the value is pretty good. I didn't mention already, but the 80/20 was around $100, and I paid $50 for the scales, so that's around $150 in total, minus the Northwest clip. This knife I paid around $150 as well, or $160. It's USA made, and it comes with a stonewashed CPM S30V sheep's foot blade with also that thumb hole for deployment and the Benchmade axis lock. I really enjoy how smooth this knife is. Like I said, very reliable. And it has FRN black handle scales that are contoured and thick, so it fills the hand very well. And then there's jimping on the back of the blade, which allows you to get a very good grip in any conditions. And like I said, having that USA made, I think, is just a bonus. But there's not a whole lot I would change about this knife. I really enjoy it. If they made it with G10, I think that would even be a little bit better. They might. I maybe should look into that, but all in all, I haven't had any issues with the FRN, and I think this is also deserving of my number 3 spot. So this is the Benchmade Griptilian. For my number 2 spot is no other than the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight. I've been eyeballing this knife for quite some time, and I picked it up maybe a month or 2 ago. It also has the FRN handles with a lot of texturing, which feels really good in the hand. And it also has some contouring around the finger guard, and there's some jimping on this side of the blade and also the spine or back side of the blade. It has a leaf-shaped CPM S30V blade that has a satin finish, and it originally came with a wire clip, but I also changed it for a Lynch Northwest pocket clip, which I think looks a little bit better on it and maybe is a little bit more durable. All in all, I really enjoy this knife. I like how you're able to choke up with the finger choil and get a very good grip with the jimping on the finger choil and the spine. Blade shape is perfect for sharpening and day-to-day use. One thing I'd change about this knife is the satin finish. I'm not a very big fan of the satin finish. I wish it was stone washed, but nonetheless, I think the satin finish is pretty and it doesn't really change the performance of the knife. So this is my number 2 spot, the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight. Finally, for my number 1 spot, it's the Microtech M.S.I or Military Standard Issue. I haven't changed anything about this knife. I think it's perfect exactly the way it is. They do sell it with a G10 version, which I kind of regret not doing the G10 just because I wanted something a little bit more textured. But this is the FRN handle scales, and they're contoured and they feel the hand just fine, and they're also a little bit more lightweight than the G10 would be. It comes with a stonewashed 3.7 inch M390 MK blade with that sheep's foot, and I think that's probably my favorite blade shape, and again with the thumb hole for deployment. This is a rather big knife. I started my collection really enjoying big knives, and so I think I've kind of come full circle and realized that I guess this is around 3.5 to 4 inch blade length is probably my preferred, but again comes with the stone washed, and I really enjoy that. Along with the axis lock with the Griptilian, this comes with a ram lock is what Microtech calls their locking mechanism, and I really enjoy this lock as well. You can kind of see how it functions. Very strong lockup and very easy to manipulate. Drop shut, the blade stock is pretty thick, and then it comes down to a very slicey blade. So I think this knife is great. I'd recommend it to anybody, and I paid around $170 for it. It's USA made, and I forgot to mention the Sage 5 Lightweight. I think I paid around $160. So most of these knives are around 150, 160, and I think this knife was around 170. So for what you get, I think this is a remarkable value and most definitely deserving of my number 1 spot in my collection. So I'll lay them out for you guys. This again is the Microtech M.S.I or Military Standard Issue for approximately $170. This is the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight for approximately $160. This is the Benchmade Griptilian for $160 approximately. And then my honorable mention is the Demko 20.5 at about $150, but if you include the pocket clip, it's around $170 or $180. So that is my top 3 favorite knives of my collection with the honorable mention. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more knife content or possibly even gaming content. And thank you for watching.